So, you know, it's a tremendous feeling of pride when you see that people in the face of those kinds of legal challenges will stand up to that situation. And other things, too, that I think a lot of people may not realize that go on in a strike. I had members that were threatened by their spouses, by their husbands, for participating in an illegal strike. They were mad as they could be about that, okay, it's all right for you to, you know, join a union, and that's all well and good when it's going well, but to be doing something like this is really, really bad. And there was one member that was being physically abused by her husband, and we were having to be very watchful on the picket line. When she was on the picket line, we were constantly watching for this guy, and she had moved out of her house. There's a lot of things that go into a strike, whether it's legal or illegal, that I think a lot of people have no idea that goes on behind the scenes. So. When I say nurse abuse, it could be, I mean, the first thing that you might think of would be physical violence towards a nurse, and let me tell you that does happen on a daily basis, and probably in every work site in this province at some point during the day. Somebody is kicked, bitten, scratched, but it's other things as well. It can be verbal abuse. Anything that can be that is deemed as degrading, humiliating to a staff member, and often this comes from employers themselves, from managers. Frequently, it's doctors that are verbally abusive to nurses, and often in front of patients, which is really humiliating and degrading. A lot of the physical abuse and verbal abuse comes from patients themselves and their families that can be very abusive. And unfortunately, there's still the belief out there, and I think some of our members still believe this, that it's part of their job. And we've been working, I think, fairly hard to try to convince people it isn't part of your job. There are ways of dealing with this, and you don't need to go to work and expect to be kicked and punched and bitten and sworn at and things thrown at you. That should not be happening in any work site, but particularly in the healthcare system, where you're there to try to help people. And you shouldn't be being abused yourself. So there's lots of work yet to be done in that. And I've been part of some initiatives that have been developed over the years for that, and I wish things had improved a lot more than they are. I see some little improvements, but not enough. There's still much, much more that needs to be done.
It's hard, though. It's a tough one.
It is, absolutely it is. But when you talk to nurses that have been you know, physically attacked, and I don't think there's any nurse out there, unfortunately, that hasn't been part of the abuse at some point or been abused at some point. I myself, I've been kicked, punched, thrown across the room. I mean, I wasn't happy with this, certainly. You know, when I was kicked across the room, I pulled myself up and I went and phoned the doctor, and I said, you order something for this patient or I'm out of here. But, you know, not everybody does that. It's just unacceptable. So I think we've got an awful lot of work yet to do in that area.